So playing tennis can sometimes feel frustrating because you spend an awful lot of time on the practice court, practicing your forehand, your backhand, your serve, and you feel like you've really got it down. You then walk on court for a match, whether it's a practice match, league match, tournament match, and for some reason, you just don't trust yourself. But here's the thing, confidence and that ability to trust yourself is usually the thing that separates the players who can play freely from the ones who tighten up and quite often throw it away. But here's the truth. You can't fake confidence, nor can you just tell yourself to be confident. It's a lot deeper than that. And here's why. So first off, why is it that confidence quite often decides matches? We might think that when we go into that match court, the reason that we're losing is because of a skills gap. But quite often, if we're playing people of a similar level, it's probably not the skills gap, it's probably due to fear. But the fear of what? Well, the fear of missing, the fear of double faulting. If you're playing doubles, the fear of letting your partner down. But if you play with fear, it ruins your game. It ruins your rhythm, your timing, your flow. Whereas tennis rewards looseness, having relaxed movements and being able to trust in your instincts. Confidence isn't about thinking you're amazing, it's about letting go of the fear of looking bad. So then it could be suggested that actually what you have to do, we've got to reframe this idea of confidence in as much as we have to think of it instead as accepting fear. True confidence is not about playing with no fear, it's about accepting fear and still going for your shots. Everybody fears mistakes, even the pros. You hear them talking about in interviews, particularly as it gets to the end of an important match, they'll quite often talk about saying, yeah, I was kind of really scared, or sometimes you can actually see them shaking. Think Murray when he won his first Wimbledon final. What really matters is being able to accept that fear and the possibility of mistakes before you walk onto the tennis court. It's having that state of mind. When you think of some of the greatest professionals, some that come to my mind are Federer and Alcaraz. They always look like they are able to commit to their shots and they never go for the safe option. They go for the right option and they do it freely. You could probably imagine those guys have accepted fear. If it goes wrong, fine, I went for it. So how can you come up with some strategies to build real confidence? Even when it feels like you're the furthest away from having confidence, like you're never going to get there. Because the real thing is, it can happen like that. The first thing is to accept failure up front. If you accept that you will miss, if you accept that there are matches that you will lose, if you accept you're playing doubles, or even you're playing singles with your parents or your coach watching, that you might let people down, well, that's okay. Once you accept those fears, you remove the control that fear has over you. Secondly, is to play without judgment. You simply can't learn if you're always judging yourself. Look how bad I was. Look how terrible my forehand was. I was too close to the ball. My serve, I didn't reach up. I made too many double faults. You can't play while you're judging yourself, because all you're going to do is fall into a really negative state of mind where fear just grows more and more. I was bad, I am bad, I'll continue being bad. You can't play like that. One really great thing as well is to celebrate the efforts you put in, not just the outcomes. So don't just celebrate when you win a match or a set or a game or a point. Say to yourself, even if I lost, even if I made a mistake, did I go for my shot? Did I swing freely? And if I did, fantastic. I'm moving in the right direction. A common analogy I like to think of is when we learn to walk as babies. So what do? We're crawling along. One day we pulled ourselves up on the couch. Then we start walking along with our hands on the couch. And then one day we take our first steps and then we fall over. And we get up and we fall over. And we do it again and again and again until one day we can walk. Well, in those times when we were learning, in most cases, no one shouted at us and said, "Oh, you can't walk, why not?" Everyone accepted that that was part of the process of learning. You know that when you learn to walk, you're going to spend an awful lot of time falling over. Until, of course, one day you could, and then we could do it so naturally, we have utter confidence and trust in our ability to walk. Well, that's exactly the same as tennis. If you let yourself fall, if you let yourself miss, if you let yourself mess up really badly, that's part of the process. I often think most of us have this idea that when we're on the tennis courts, we think that people are watching us going, "Can you look how bad their forehand is? Look how bad their serve is. Oh wow, they are so awful. Look how they lost." Well, here's the real truth. Most people actually don't care. Most people look over and they might watch you making an error and they just go, "Oh, okay." And they stop watching. Actually, the worst thing that can happen with you is nobody's interested. But then the brilliant thing is the next week you can come back and hit an amazing forehand and people will come up and go, "Wow, that was really good." What we all want to see are people being good. Most people don't care what happens when people make mistakes because they realize everyone makes mistakes. But then there's the other piece, which is tennis is fantastic. It's never decided on one match. If you lose today, tomorrow you can come back, and if you win, all of a sudden everything's changed. So to close this out, here's my call to action to you. If you feel like you're not very confident, if you feel like you want to change and actually start walking on the court and being able to trust yourself, well, here's the thing. The next time you walk on, whether it's in a practice match, a tournament, club league, walk onto the court and say exactly that. Today, I am going to trust myself. Because after all, confidence isn't given. It's earned through acceptance. Let yourself be confident. Let yourself make mistakes. And then that's when your real tennis is going to start showing up. So if you found this useful at all, or equally if you kind of thought, actually, there are some other ideas I have on this, or maybe you want to share some scenarios of how you weren't confident and you managed to turn that around and how you managed to do that, put your thoughts into the comments. Always love to hear it. It's great to learn about how other people are experiencing topics just like this. Put your thoughts in the comments.